Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys an audio work of mine. This will be familiar to Reagan. And after I show it, I'll just kind of ramble on whatever ideas of mine are happened upon by the thoughts of this piece. So I'll divulge into, among other things, the story of how Reagan is involved in the creation of it. And then actually I was interested in maybe just like after rambling about it, showing it to you guys again. And like it's quite a short piece, it's just a minute long, and you know, see how your perceptions of it have changed, if at all. So yeah, feedback is appreciated. And actually I will have a Q&A, you know. I'll live up to the name of this event and actually answer some questions if you guys are interested.
I would answer questions.
You got to express that's on the line. The questions
go ahead.
are viable. Questions are most definitely viable in this presentation. So yeah, we'll get right to it and show you guys. I thought
the drums sound kind of African. Was it djembe kind of thing?
No, it wasn't. I'll tell you what it was. And actually, like, every sound you heard originated from a single object, and it was, Reagan knows, it was a toboggan. Actually.
Really? No way!
Yeah, it was all from a toboggan.
Nice.
And yeah, it was kind of part of this project we were doing in our drama 360 class. And yeah, I guess I don't really remember what
I don't remember exactly
what the goal of the project as a whole was, but I mean, like, this came out of it, and I was stoked on that. And I like, for me, that hints at the potential of what could be a musical instrument, because I think that, like, we have very narrow restrictions in terms of what we conceptualize as a musical instrument, and things that fall outside of that restriction, we tend to kind of like ignore their sonic potentials. So I really wanted to take something that just in no traditional sense is conceived as an instrument, and to the fullest extent that I could within, I think I had 24 hours to put this together. So to the fullest extent I could within 24 hours explore the sonic potential of that item. And I did utilize computer processing, but for me, that doesn't really taint the authenticity of the sound, because, as I was saying, it's a sonic potential. It's the array of ways this object could be experienced from you know, like a sonic level, and that's obvious. I think it also demonstrates the subjectivity of that, because we, being humans, hear at a certain pitch, but you know, if I were to be shrunk down to the size of an ant, I would hear the exact same sounds coming from that toboggan much deeper, because comparatively speaking to my eardrums, the wavelengths would be that much longer. So I think doing something like putting it onto a computer and shifting the pitch like a few octaves down, I don't think for me at least, it doesn't compromise the authenticity of the sound. It's just exploring a different subjective way that it could be experienced. So yeah, I take great joy from fucking around with things and seeing what kind of cool sounds can be produced from a really limited palette. I think I started with like 6 sounds that I made out of this toboggan. I think I just hit it in different ways. I think at one point I actually put the microphone in, I don't know what you'd call that part of the anatomy of the toboggan, but if you can imagine, the sleigh curves around, so getting like the resonance of that curve, holding the microphone in there and hitting it. Usually I used the rope a bit. It had like it was a sleigh, right? It was like an old school sleigh, as Reagan was saying. So yeah, I kind of like rubbed the rope against the wood. And I just had these 6 sounds, and I threw them onto a program called Peak, which is just kind of used mostly for fine tuning. Like it's a program which really is like it's really optimally used with like a single sound at a time. Whereas for me, kind of like the process that I've developed with like audio media is starting small and then widening my scope. So I don't know if that makes sense. We're kind of taught in school to like start broad and then narrow our scope, but for some reason the process I just arrived at experimenting was that, and that came about from just me noticing that like 2 of the programs I really loved like really complemented each other in a certain way. Like Peak is great for, as I was saying, just like fine tuning a single sound, whereas GarageBand, which I'm sure some of you guys have fucked around with that, it's free on Apple computers, and that's more of like an arranging software, so you get like the full view, different tracks, you can really step back and arrange from a greater angle. So I like to just kind of like use Peak to assemble a palette of sounds. So start with those 6 original recordings, and then just kind of like see what I can unlock from those sonically, like crack into the nut, so to speak, and see what kind of cool shit there is there. And then once I have that palette, I kind of take it onto GarageBand and utilize the advantage of seeing things from that wider perspective to actually arrange it into a song. And so that's kind of like the technical process behind it. Like I said, it's like this speech is a little bit removed from the creation of it. I did this like, oh man, that must have been, it was when the weather was viable for tobogganing, so quite a while ago now. But yeah, I think I was interested to rediscover it actually and see what it said about my process and philosophies regarding my work, and there was a couple other things I wanted to meander to, but I think I'm pretty happy with that. So.